Hey gamers, and welcome back to One Game at a Time.
Back for another deep dive into the latest gaming news.
You know how we do it here,
All the info you need.
in under 10 minutes.
Starting with, well, I guess you could say an oldie but a goodie. A franchise making its return.
Claire Obscure.
Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 to be precise.
This turn-based RPG,
Set in a beautiful world.
inspired by the Belle Epoque era,
Drops April 24th,
on PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC.
and it's coming to Game Pass on day one.
The new trailer dropped this week.
Showed off some pretty cool stuff.
Definitely caught my eye.
That art style is just gorgeous.
The combat system looks really engaging,
Yeah, blending that classic turn-based formula.
with some real-time defensive and offensive abilities.
Could be a hit with RPG fans.
2 new characters were also revealed.
Manunako.
A Gestrel who can transform into enemies,
Sounds pretty unique.
and then there's Esquire.
A large character.
Seems like they'll help you navigate the world.
The world map itself is a big change from previous games.
Yeah, no more level-based environments.
This time you can explore caves.
Get into optional battles.
Find side quests.
Sounds like there will be a lot to explore.
And of course we gotta talk about the collector's edition.
Oh yeah, for all you collectors out there.
It's packed with goodies.
Music box,
Steelbook.
art book.
And even some DLC.
If you prefer digital, there's a digital deluxe edition as well.
Comes with extra outfits and hairstyles.
Options for everyone.
Now let's switch gears.
All right, what's next?
Doom. The Dark Ages.
Oh, a prequel to the recent Dune games.
Set in a medieval world.
Launching May 15th.
On Xbox Series XS, PS5, and PC.
This one looks like a real change for the series.
They've ditched the platforming
From Doom Eternal,
and are focusing on
fast-paced ground combat,
like the classic Doom games.
but with a medieval twist.
One of the new weapons
The Skull Crusher.
uses enemy skulls as ammo.
Brutal.
They're really emphasizing power and aggression this time around.
The melee combat looks intense, too.
Yeah, they've added an electrified gauntlet.
And a throwable shield saw.
I saw that in the trailer.
Looks devastating.
Definitely taking inspiration from some interesting sources.
Like Batman. The Dark Knight Returns.
And the movie 300.
An interesting mix.
They've also streamlined some things,
Like the story.
which is now told through cutscenes.
Instead of codex entries.
And the controls and economy have been simplified.
Plus, there are customizable difficulty sliders.
Always a good addition.
Don't forget about those epic set pieces.
A giant demon mech.
And cybernetic dragon riding sequences.
This is a single-player only experience.
No multiplayer this time.
But with all that content, who needs it?
All right, moving on.
To a game that's already out.
It just came to a new platform.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Now available on PC.
The PC port's a little bit of a mixed bag.
Oh, how so?
Well, the game runs well.
But there are some limitations.
When it comes to PC-specific features,
Like what?
frame rates are capped, graphical options are limited,
Not great.
and upscaling is limited to TAAU and DLSS. Still, performance has been analyzed on a range of hardware.
Including the Steam Deck.
Looks like the medium preset offers a good balance.
Between visual fidelity and performance?
Probably.
You think the modding community will step up?
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Just like they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Improve the PC port.
Address some of the limitations.
Almost definitely.
Speaking of behind-the-scenes news,
We've got some juicy detail.
of the Dishonored series.
Turns out Dishonored 2,
Didn't meet Bethesda's sales expectations.
even though it was critically acclaimed,
Wow, that's surprising.
especially considering its development costs.
Which was?
Higher than Skyrim's.
No way.
Yep,
But this series is safe, right?
it seems so.
Thank goodness.
Its reputation for quality likely helped.
Saved Arcane Studios.
From potential closure.
Phew. Close one.
Dinga Bakaba
The studio director.
deserves a lot of credit.
For fighting for Arcane's vision.
Their focus on innovative and immersive games.
Glad they're sticking around.
Now for some good news.
All right, hit me.
Sonic X Shadow Generations
It's a mouthful.
has surpassed 2 million units sold.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's a million more since October.
Last year.
The game blends Sonic Generations.
With the new Shadow Generations story.
Sega is really going all in on Sonic.
They're investing in transmedia.
Across the board.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was huge at the box office.
Smashed records.
Over $425 million globally.
Not bad for a blue blur.
And we've got Sonic Rumble.
Coming to mobile soon.
Sega's certainly keeping busy.
On the other end of the spectrum,
We've got a game that's facing some challenges.
Apex Legends.
Lost a lot of players on Steam
70%?
throughout last year.
A pretty steep decline.
Why is that?
Seems to be a combination of factors.
Increased monetization.
And a lack of substantial content updates.
Yeah, the community's been vocal about those issues.
They want more content.
Less focus on monetization.
Especially compared to other games in the genre.
So what's EA doing about it?
They've acknowledged they need to make changes.
Significant change.
Innovative changes.
For re-engage the community.
We'll have to wait and see what those changes are.
Some are hoping for Titanfall 3.
That would certainly get people excited.
But whether or not that's in the cards
remains to be seen.
Well, that covers it for our gaming news roundup today.
It's a lot of information.
Packed into less than 10 minutes.
Just like we promised.
Amazing how much can happen in the gaming world.
In such a short time.
What news stood out to you the most?
Honestly, the contrast between Sonic and Apex Legends.
Yeah, one's thriving.
The other's struggling.
Really highlights the importance of finding that balance.
Keeping existing players happy.
Attracting new ones.
Especially in live service games.
Absolutely.
It's a challenge developers have to face.
As the gaming landscape keeps changing.
We'll have to leave it there for today.
But before we go,
one more thought.
The Dishonored 2 situation got me thinking.
About what?
About what makes a game successful.
A question for the ages.
Critically acclaimed game.
Didn't sell as well as expected.
Sonic is breaking records.
Is there a formula?
What's the secret?
I think it's a mix of things.
Sales are obviously important.
But so is critical acclaim.
A passionate fan base.
Good marketing.
Timing plays a role, too.
Sometimes it's just luck.
A game hits at the right time.
Captures the zeitgeist.
Others struggle.
Despite their quality.
It's a complex equation.
No guarantees of success.
Even with big budgets.
And talented developers.
But that's part of what makes it so interesting.
The unpredictability.
The constant evolution.
The passionate communities.
It's a dynamic world.
For sure.
Well, that officially wraps up this deep dive.
Into the latest gaming news.
Thanks for joining us.
On One Game at a Time.
Your source for quick gaming news.
In under 10 minutes.
We'll see you next week.
For another deep dive.
Until then.
Keep on gaming. It's a wild world out there.
It really is. Always something new happening.
Keeps things exciting.
Speaking of exciting.
Yeah.
That whole Dishonored 2 thing.
What about it?
Got me thinking, you know?
Hmm.
Critically acclaimed game.
Yep.
Didn't sell as well as expected.
Right.
Even with a bigger budget than Skyrim.
Crazy. Makes you wonder.
About what?
About what really makes a game successful these days.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Is it just sales? Or is there more to it?
I mean, sales are important.
Of course. But
it's not the whole story.
Right. Dishonored 2 had the critics.
And the fans.
But it still struggled.
Maybe it was the marketing.
Could be. Or maybe...
just got lost in the shuffle.
Too many other games coming out at the same time.
It happened.
Or maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the gaming landscape is changing.
In ways we don't fully understand.
Exactly.
Makes you think. It does. And then you've got Apex Legends.
Losing players left and right.
EA says they need to make changes.
Big changes. Innovative changes.
But what will those changes be?
Who knows?
Will they be enough?
To win back those players.
That's the question.
Only time will tell.
I guess we'll be keeping an eye on that one.
Definitely. A lot of big questions facing the industry.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Totally.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I think we've squeezed all the juice out of this week's news.
All in under 10 minutes.
As always.
That's what One Game at a Time is all about.
Quick, easy-to-digest gaming news.
For the busy gamer.
Who doesn't have time for hours of podcasts?
So, before we go...
What's on your mind?
I want to hear from our listeners...
About what?
About which story resonated with them the most.
Good question.
Was it Claire Obscure, Doom, Final Fantasy?
Or maybe the struggles of Dishonored and Apex?
Whatever it was, we want to know.
Share your thoughts in the comments.
We love hearing from you guys. Your perspectives on the gaming world are valuable.
Who knows? Maybe your comment will inspire our next deep dive.
That's right.
So, until next time.
Keep on gaming.
Always appreciate you joining us.
For these deep dives.
Into the latest gaming news.
It's been a busy week.
That's for sure.
Lots to talk about.
Before we wrap things up, one last thought.
Go on.
All this talk about sales and struggling games got me thinking about success.
Success.
Like, what really makes a game successful?
The age-old question.
Is it just about the numbers?
The sales figures.
Yeah,
I mean, those are important,
of course.
but it's not everything.
Right.
Look at Dishonored 2.
Didn't sell as well as they hoped.
But it was critically acclaimed,
Iconic.
breaking records.
So what's the key?
I think it's a mix of things.
Like what?
Well, obviously sales,
It's not make money.
but also critical acclaim,
Word of mouth.
a passionate fan base.
Can't forget about marketing.
Timing is huge, too. Releasing at the right time,
Sometimes you just get lucky.
right place, right time.
Other times, no matter how good the game,
It just doesn't connect.
it's a tough business.
But that's what makes it exciting.
The unpredictability.
The constant change.
The passionate gamers.
It's a vibrant world.
Always evolving.
Well, on that note,
Time to wrap things up.
that's it for this episode of One Game at a Time.
Your source for quick gaming news.
All under 10 minutes.
We'll be back next week.
With another deep dive.
Until then,
Keep on gaming.
see you soon.